It's me. It's TRG, the Ramblin Gambler. Welcome, everybody. I am going to do a quick video today, and I am going to demonstrate for you TRG Wagering System 2. Always be grindin'. You can see that I've got a blackjack application open here on the computer. We are going to play a 6-deck game where the dealer stands on all 17s and blackjack pays 3-2. So very fair game, very fair rules. And beyond that, we don't really care about these dollar amounts here. I am not going to use these for our wagering. I am going to use this area over here. That's why I have this camera set up and this very basic outline laid out for you over here. This is where all the important stuff is going to happen. I want to show you how the chips move, how things progress, handle various situations. The other thing that I need to tell you is that this is all being done live, one take, no edits, nothing fancy. If when I do the podcast, if I cough, if I sneeze, if I make a mistake, I can have a second or a third take, and T-Rex edits that all down, chops that all up, and makes it into something coherent. Sometimes I do, behind the scenes, pull back the curtain a little for you. Sometimes in the podcast, I do go off on a tangent, and then after the fact, T-Rex and I decide it really isn't a good fit, and we take that tangent out. And sometimes we decide it's really good, and we leave it in, obviously. So we're gonna do this all live. We're gonna do this all in one take. The cards generated are going to be the cards generated. If the computer glitches, the computer's gonna glitch, and we're gonna work right through it. So if this is not perfect, I apologize. It likely will not be perfect, but a lot of people have asked for this. A lot of people have said, I'm a visual learner. I appreciate the description, but I'm a visual learner. I'd love to have a video and see you moving the chips around. So that's what we're going to do. I originally taught this in the podcast in episodes 62 and 63. So if you're not familiar with the base material of TRG Wagering System 2, Always Be Grindin', then you may want to go listen to those and then come back to this. And the other thing that I want to mention is that squad mate, inner circle member, East Coast emissary, ECE, has done a flowchart, or some people call it a decision tree, on this wagering system. So if you go to CasinoCombat.com, if you go to the Fred section, you can download a PDF and print it out that shows you how to make all of these decisions and make them appropriately and correctly for what I do. So there's kind of the background for this. We're going to start dealing some hands here. So first of all, I have these blue chips. And these blue chips are going to act as red chips for our demonstration today. Or, I'm sorry, green chips. These are going to act as green chips. These are going to be $25 chips, because I think that'll make it easy. 25 is a common table minimum a lot of places that I go. And obviously, there are places with less. You should be able to take what I'm going to teach here and apply it to other things. So I have 10 blue chips here, which are 10 $25 chips. And I've made this little outline. You can see this is my play stack. This is my win stack. I have not yet won anything. And this is where my wager goes. And on a blackjack table, I just kind of imagine all of this. I imagine these two squares in my head. Obviously, they're not on a blackjack table. Or maybe not so obviously. Maybe some of you don't realize those don't exist on a blackjack table. I just kind of imagine them, which is to say, I stack my chips this way. And then as I start to win, I put my winnings over here. How you stack these, this should be obvious once again. How you stack these doesn't matter. You stack them however you wish. I find, for me personally, that because this is my abacus, this tells me what my next bet needs to be. I always try to stack chips the same way, because over time, my brain has learned to visually just identify what's going on in that stack of chips, because I always put it the same way, and I know kind of how many I'm down and all of that kind of stuff. So let's get started. I'm going to put one chip there as my wager, and then let's click play here and see what we get. I have a 12 against a dealer's 10. That is a hit, using basic strategy, of course. And now I'm going to stand on my hard 17, and that's a push. If you're not super familiar with blackjack, if both yourself and the dealer have the same total mathematically, then no money changes hands. So this bet's going to stay right here. And hard 12 against a dealer 16, that is a stand. 18, so we lose. And in TRG Wagering System 2, if this was TRG Wagering System 1, my wager would go up. In TRG Wagering System 2, we are just going to try to grind out things when they don't go well. There's one of those glitches I was mentioning. Sorry about that. We're just going to try to grind things out until things switch and go our way. So here we go. 13 against a dealer's 5. That's a stand. And 20. That's a loss. Next hand. 12 against a dealer's 2. Or 12 against a dealer's 9. See, I told you this was live. There we go. That's a hard 18. That's a stand. 14, 24. All right, so we win, we get paid. There we go. And now I'm going to rebuild my abacus. And I see in my abacus, we've lost a couple, and now we've had a win. And I see in my abacus right here that I'm still short 1 chip. And since we've had a win after a series of losses, we start the regressive wagering part of TRG Wagering System 2, Always Be Grindin'. And we go up by 1 unit, which would conveniently be enough to completely restore our play stack and add 1 to the win stack. So let's see how this goes. 20. Do I want to split? No, I do not want to split. I am the only one here, so there is no fight in the parking lot to be had. And we push once again. All right, 20 once again. And again, I do not want to split, and I do want to stand. All right, 19. So we get paid 2 units. We rebuild our abacus. Our abacus is fully rebuilt. Our play stack is fully rebuilt to a total of 10 units. And we can add 1 chip right there. Now, we are going to start the progressive part of our wagering process. So let me make some change. Five. Since we've won 2 in a row and added to our win stack, we will now make a 1.5 unit wager. And let me pause for a minute. When I do things in the podcast, I always try to teach with $10 unit sizes. It's simple. It's easy. It allows up by half to be very simple. In reality, in the real world, in the messy real world of actually gambling in a casino, I have 2 choices here. I can either further break down this a red chip from here into 2 $2.50 chips, and I can make this, in this case, a blue. In a casino, it would be a green chip. I can make it a green, 2 red, and then 1 pink or purple, whatever it is, $2.50 chip to make a perfect $12.50 up by half. And that's a perfectly viable option. It will work fine that way. Or I can be a little bit lazy or simplify things a little bit and just go up by 10 instead of going up by $12.50. And that's generally almost all the time what I choose to do, is just to go up by 10, not by $12.50, to not be constantly having the dealer make me change into smaller and smaller chips. So that's the way I'm going to do things today. So I have a $35 up by just a little less than half a unit. 12 against a dealer's 6. That's a stand. 16. House bust. Perfect. So I get paid. I rebuild my abacus. So win stack. Play stack still fine. This is still the chip off of my play stack. This is from my win stack. I add half. Obviously that's not half. It's a little less than half. But I add $10 in chips to my wager, and I get a 17, and I stand, and the house has 20. So that's a loss. And I'm back to a 1 unit wager. 10, dealer has 21. So once again, I continue with a 1 unit wager. 15, that is a stand against a 3. 13, 20. That's a loss. A 1 unit wager. And this is the grindin part of Always Be Grindin. It has a couple different grinds, if you will. And this is the one where you're trying to hope the house doesn't eventually grind you down and off the table. We're just waiting for something to be different here. And this could be different. So, this is an 11 against a dealer's. Here we go. Let me slide that over. And I got to, once again, to pull back the curtain. All of this is backwards to me because of the way the camera is set up and everything else. So this is all backwards. So I have to move my hand opposite the way I want the chips to go to get you to see it the way I want you to see it. So 11 against a dealer's 8, that's a double. And so I've got my double wager out there, and I am going to click double, 20, not a bad hand, 10, 18. All right, that's excellent. So I get paid. Now I rebuild my abacus. Let's see what our abacus looks like here. All right, so we have 9 units on our play stack. We just won a hand after a series of losses, so we make our regressive wager. We go up by a full unit, which conveniently will give us 1 on the win stack and switch us to the progressive side if we have a win here. 3 against a 10. That's a hit. 17, that's a stand. House has 20. All right. So we continue again with a 2-unit wager. We're going to continue that way until we win a hand or reach the point where we've added to the win stack. And that's a hit, and that's a bust. We're going to once again make a 2-unit wager. Soft 17, that is a hit. 13, that is a hit. 14, that is a hit. 9, 23, that's a bust. All right, so you can see that we now have lost 7 units off of our play stack. We are done at this table. That's our negative exit condition when we have lost 7 units off of this play stack. So we have lost 7 units off of that play stack. So if I were in the casino, I would walk away from the table and I would say, okay, there's 100. So, and there's 15. So that is $115. I started with $250. That is a loss of $135, and I would record that in my app. I would record that I was playing blackjack. I would record that I had at 1.1 1 unit. I would report that in the end I lost $135. I would go look at the fountain. I would go get a root beer. I would go get some food, a massage, go to the pool, depending on, obviously, if I'm at a resort or not a resort. I would take that little break. I would get out of the mental space of gambling, and I would make my decisions about going back. And then, to be completely candid, in almost all situations with a minus 135 recorded, I'm not super worried. That should not be a big deal. That should not be a horrific loss. I always say that minimum, you want to be able to do 3 10-unit buy-ins, and that often that bankroll will stretch a lot farther than 3 buy-ins because we're almost never playing all the way down to our last dollar, our last chip. We're never trying to never be, well, I got a chip and a chair, so I've got a chance. And that's a poker phrase more than a blackjack phrase, but heard sometimes at other table games, hey, if you got a chip and a chair, you've got a chance. And that's true. I try to never play that far. I try to have the discipline to just walk away, regroup, make my decisions away from the table, and then come back at things. So let's do exactly that. We took a little break, we recorded our results, we made sure everything makes sense. We only lost $135. That's a very winnable amount of money. And we're right back at it again at a new table with our chips stacked correctly. 9 against the dealer's 2. That is a hit. 14 is a stand. 8, 13, too many. So right away, and I'm not going to restack the abacus here. Obviously, if you're really still learning this and struggling with it, this would go here. You would see that you had 1 to put here, and you'd play the next hand. That's a hit. Still a hit. That's a bust. So a 1-unit wager. I do not want to split. And I do want to stand. 18. Perfect. There's my win. Let's build the abacus. The abacus says my play stack is fine. I do not have a chip to put on my win stack. I am not going to progress or regress my wagers. I am just going to return to that grind. And that's a bust. One chip. That's a hit. Still a hit. Oh, nice. All right, so I get paid. Rebuild my play stack. Didn't add to my win stack. Just going to keep grinding. And that's a stand. 17 against a 19. I win. All right. So that goes there. I rebuild my abacus. I see that I have one extra chip. It goes here. I've now won 2 in a row and added to my win stack. So I am going to make some change for myself. And I am going to make a approximately 1.5 unit wager. And I'm going to stand. 12, 22. Excellent. So I get paid. My abacus is fine. And let me stop here a second. So if you're doing this in the casino, and if this is new to you, and if you're not real confident in it, you would actually do this. Oh, I have 1 for my win stack. Okay. So there from my play stack is 1 unit. There's the press from my win stack for the first press. Here's my press from the win stack for my second press. So I've now won enough that on the progressive side, I can actually go up another half unit. And now I'm going to stand. 19. So that's a loss. Nothing to rebuild. I'm just going to make a 1 unit base wager and start the process over again. That's a hit. 19 is a stand. 12, 14, 18. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. So, I get paid. I rebuild my abacus. I did not add to my win stack. I do not need to bet more than 1 unit to have a 1 unit addition, so I just bet 1 unit. 14 against a 3. That's a stand. 18. That's a loss. So here we go. 1 unit. 13 against a 3. That's a stand. 15, 18. That's a loss. So just continue to go 1 unit. 8. I do not want insurance. We're never going to take insurance ever. I've run through the math of that in one of the episodes. The math clearly shows that insurance is never something we want to take, and I am not going to split my 4s against an ace. That is basic strategy. I am going to hit. That's 18. I'm going to stand. House has 19. All right, that's a stand. 12, 22. So I get paid. I rebuild my abacus. I did not add to the win stack. I did have a win after a series of losses, so I am going to make a 2 unit wager. 20. Do not want to split. Do want to stand. And I do appreciate that I'm going to get paid. So there's the I got paid part. I can't see that. It's backwards. There we go. Rebuild my abacus. It's exactly, yep, there we go. It's exactly what I want it to be. It's exactly 10 units. I did not add to my win stack, so I am not going to press up on that. I do not need to press up to add 1 unit here. I only need to make a 1 unit bet, so that is what I'm going to do. 10 against the dealer's 5. That is a double. 20. So, just 1 unit. 10. That's a double. All right. That helps. Kind of a lose one, win one kind of thing there. So let's rebuild. Let's restack. Let's see what things look like. All right. I did, because of the double, add 1 to my win stack. But I have not won 2 in a row. And then here's the other thing I'll share. If I win 2 in a row, if that was a second win in a row. Excuse me. That's that sneeze I told you might happen. If I had won 2 in a row, but it was only because of the double that I put 1 on the win stack, I would not start progressing. And I would also say I don't think it matters. If you choose to go up after that, I don't think it's going to hurt you in the long run. So I'm just going to make a 1-unit bet. And that's a hit. And 17's a stand. And now in real life, I'm just hoping for a push. 11, 16. Okay, that went better than expected. So I won. Oops, you can't see that. So I won. I got paid. Rebuild my abacus. I added 1 to the win stack. Notice how I've done this enough that I'm very robotic about it, right? You can see that I have a lot of experience playing this system this way. And so it's pretty natural for me. And then let me tell you also that when I was teaching myself to wager this way, when I had invented this on paper and done it kind of like this on my own on my kitchen table, I would be a lot less confident. If you start and you're not moving quickly through it, that's normal. When I first did it, I actually told dealers that I knew. I looked for tables where I could play by myself and told dealers that I knew this is going to go a little slow. I'm teaching myself something new. So don't be surprised if that occurs in your case as well. Well, after all that rambling, I believe we did win 2 in a row. I think we just won 3 in a row. We did add to the win stack, so let's go up half a unit. Do not want to split. I do want to stand. 11, 21. That's unfortunate. Obviously not what we'd prefer there. So just a 1-unit wager, just trying to get things back right. Oh, there we go. So blackjack pays 3-2. So that means I need another $12.50 in addition to my 1 green, which we're using blue, my 1 green chip. So there, I have been paid properly. I have been paid $25, and half of $25 is $12.50. Oh, by the way, this is my $2.50 chip. That's what that is there. So let's rebuild everything. We've not won 2 in a row. We have not added a full unit to the win stack, so this is just a 1-unit wager. I have 19. I'm going to stand. House has 20. So I'm going to bet 1 unit. I am going to double. All right. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I got paid. I've rebuilt my abacus. Once again, I have added to the win stack, but I have not added to the win stack because of a 1-unit wager. It's because of the double, so I'm just going to wager 1 unit. I am going to split. Yes, I would. Thank you very much. And that's going to be a stand. And that's a 10. So that is a double. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Would have liked to have seen the house bust out there. So just a 1-unit wager and hoping to turn things around here. 12. That's a hit. 16 is a hit. 21. Excellent. Funny how dealers manage to do that, even if they're a computer. All right. So we get paid. We rebuild my abacus. I don't have 10 units. I didn't add to the win stack. We are going to start the regressive wagering with a 2-unit wager. And that's a hit. And a hit again. 17, not a strong hand. 13, 14, 21. Rats. All right. So, another 2-unit wager. And a stand. Okay, excellent. So I get paid. I rebuild my abacus. We're in the regressive part of things, and we can now go up another unit if we need to, and if we were to win 3 units, we would be able to add to the win stack, so that is what we want to do. Blackjack, not fun. Come on, computer. All right, now we got an interesting situation. Let me talk you through this. So, we normally have a negative exit point of having lost 7 units. 7 or more units is maybe a way to say that, because sometimes you end up in this exact situation. I need to make a 3-unit wager. If I make a 3-unit wager, I only have 2 units left in my play stack. So my choices are to leave minus 8 units on this side, not counting what's over here. My choice is to leave minus 8 or to leave minus 5. Now, leaving minus 5 would be pointless. I suppose I could. I suppose I could leave plus 1750. So those are my choices. Do I want to leave plus 1750 or do I want to risk losing 3 more units? And you can do that either way. That's a you choice, not a me choice. I'm going to choose to risk 1 more unit in almost every situation in my real life gambling. I'm going to choose to risk 1 more unit than choose to just say, okay, well, I won $17.50. I'm done. And I'm going to stand 19. So that finishes us up at this table. Really not too bad. That shows why this system works. 100, 75, 85, 90, 190. So this chip here, this $2.50 chip, this would go to the dealer, and I would record that very, very small loss. If I had done fountain, I'd do root beer. If I'd done root beer, I'd do fountain. Let's do one more table. Let's hope that, and you can see that while we've taken losses, we're really not damaging the bankroll significantly. We are not taking serious hits to our bankroll through this process. Yes, we've lost, but we lost after winning some, and that 7-unit rule on the play stack puts us in that situation. So, new table, fountain and or root beer complete, 1 unit wagered, new table. And obviously we'd like to see a winning sequence here where we finish up instead of down. So let's see what we get when we hit. 19, stand. 17. So once again, I don't need to rebuild anything here, right? The wager stays there. What I won goes on the win stack. We're not moving our wager up or down. That's just 1 win in a row. I don't want to buy insurance. I do not want to split. I do want to stand. 20 versus 20. Rats. 15 against a 9. That is a basic strategy hit. That's a bust. I'm just going to bet 1 unit. Oh, sorry about that. Welcome to my email, everybody. 19, that's a stand. Oh, that's a pleasant surprise. I always expect the house to have a 20 there. 16, that's a hit. 19, that's a stand. The house does have 20 there. I told you. 1 unit. That's a hit. That's a stand. 12, 13, 15. Out. Excellent. So, I get paid 1 unit. I build my abacus. I'm still short 1 unit on my play stack. We had a couple of losses, then we have a win. We're going to start the regressive part. A 2-unit wager will give us, with a win, a 1 unit on our win stack. That's exactly what we would like. I'm going to stand on my 17 against a 2. House has 9. House has 14. House has 19. That is a loss. So I'm going to make a 2-unit wager. And I'm going to stand. And the house has 21. Come on, computer. Let's generate a winning sequence here. 11. Ah, look at that. Look at that. There is, if you can't see it, there's exactly 3 chips there. This is why, everything, and boy, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here. I'm really trying to illustrate and explain. Every single part of this system has a purpose. It is intentional. How many times do I say to you that particularly when we're playing blackjack, if we're playing baccarat, this doesn't happen. If we're playing craps, this doesn't happen. Roulette, this doesn't happen. But in blackjack, I have you walking away at 7 units. I have 7 units lost as the last wager that we want to make, because this situation does happen. I have 11, the house has 7. This is a hand that's a good double. It is a basic strategy double, and I still have money left from my buy-in to make that wager and make my double. And we pushed. So my double just goes back in the stack. 3's against a 6. Hey, this is a split. It's a good thing we have extra money there. I do want to split. More problems. This is a good double. So I am going to, and this is what I would do, I am going to put my double out, and now I'm kind of all in. That's a stand. A push and a loss. And the push was the double. So I'm here. This goes back on my win stack because that's where it was. My play stack is at 7. I am going to record a 6-unit loss. Might want to go with a bourbon at this point, or a Canadian whiskey. Apple-flavored Canadian whiskey? Yes, please. That might be what the trip. That might be what the trip to the bar is for now. So we have had 3 losing tables. But because we had small wins along the way, our bankroll, despite that loss, our bankroll would still be fine. We only took 150 there. We've really only lost a little more than 1 buy-in. Our bankroll is still very much intact. I am going to do this one more time and hope to get a win for you here to show you the winning aspect of this. That's a stand. That's a win. And once again, I've done this enough that I don't need to put this one here, put this one on top of it, then take one off and put it here, and then say, oh, I didn't win 2 in a row. I'm just going to make my 1-unit bet and go on. That's a stand. That's a loss. 1 unit. Trickiest hand in blackjack when you have soft 18. Sometimes it's a stand. Sometimes it's a double in weird ways, and sometimes it's a hit in annoying ways, and this is that annoying way. The average winning hand in blackjack is 18.5. Some people will tell you 18.45. Some people will tell you 18.57. I just go with mentally 18.5, and on hands like this, it's important to remember that you don't really have a winning hand in front of you, so you're going to hit. 17, that's a stand. 17. Could have had a win. Book was wrong on that one. Book wasn't wrong. Book's always right. It just didn't work out that time. That's a stand. That's a win. One for the good guys. All right, so I got paid. I rebuild my abacus. My abacus is fine. I didn't add to my win stack. I don't need to bet more than 1 unit to add 1 to my win stack, so there we go. And that's a stand. 24. That's a win for us. We rebuild everything. We did add 1. I need to make change. I've made change. I'm going to bet approximately 1.5 units. And the house has blackjack. So now I'm going to go just right back to my standard 1-unit bet. This is a basic strategy double. So there's my double. House has 17. 1-unit bet. All right, this is just a hit. Now it's just a stand. Look at how good this dealer is. Even when it's a computer, dealers are all still very good at making hands. Don't want to split. Do want to stand. That's a win. Rebuild my abacus. I got a long way to go to add to the win stack, and I just had a win after a series of losses, so I'm going to make a 2-unit wager. All right, excellent. So I get paid my 2 units. I rebuild my abacus. I'm short 1 unit. I don't need to go to a 3-unit wager to have a 1-unit win, so I'm just going to do a second 2-unit wager. Oh, look at that. I got to confess, I was really expecting the house to have 19. So, I got paid. I rebuilt. I did add 1 to my win stack, so I'm going to go up by half a unit. And notice, I didn't emphasize this enough. Notice that when I do that, I am taking 1 unit from my play stack. I am taking the press from my win stack. I am pressing with winnings. I am not pressing with my buy-in. I'm going to stand. House has 20. 1 unit wager. And I'm going to stand. House has 17. 1 unit wager. We're shuffling every day. I believe this is a basic strategy double. Oh, good for the house. Bad for me. So there we go. 1 unit. 9 is a hit. 17 is a stand. That's a win. Put things in my play stack. I got to win some more. So now after a series of losses, I have a win. So I'm going to go up by 1 unit. Blackjack. Excellent. Blackjack pays 3-2. So there's my 3 units. I guess you can't see those. There's my 3 units. Now I rebuild. Now you can see my play stack is right back where I want it to be. That blackjack really helped. I can make a 1 unit bet. I am now going to double. Oh, I'm not going to double. House had blackjack. And that's a hit. That's a stand. 17. So I get paid. I rebuild my abacus. I added 1 to my win stack. I need to now take 1 from my play stack and 2 units from my win stack. And so I'm going to make change, but let's pause once again for a minute here. Let's have some real talk. If I was in a casino, if I had had several losing tables all at once, I might cheat here. And not cheat's not the right word. I'm not sure what word I want. I might skimp a little bit. I might just do this. I might just take that 1 lonely red chip and go like that and not go all the way up. I'm going to do it the right way for our illustration. I'm going to make change. But I do like to admit some of the messy real-world parts of this. It's easy when I'm teaching in the podcast to keep things very neat and very clean. You can see in the real world as I'm moving these chips around. Oh, this got to go this way. My table's moving on me. There we go. In the real world, having taken 3 small losing tables, I might have just cheated a little bit. I might have just saved a little money and only gone up part way. Here we go. I don't want to split, and I don't want to push. I don't want to push. I want to stand. All right, I didn't push. So, I get paid. All of it goes in the win stack because I have 1 unit out of here already, and I have half a unit from my win stack already, and I'm going to add another half unit. And that's a hit. That's not good. So we're back to just a 1 unit wager, but we did add a little to our win stack there. House has blackjack. This has generated some nice comebacks for us, though. That's a stand. Yeah, 2 is a very strong card for dealers for whatever reason. Kind of universally acknowledged. And that's a hit. That's an 18. That's a stand. House has 20. All right, we need you to generate another comeback. This is a double, and not a very strong double at that. All right. I had a push. Oh, that's funny. All right. Always split 8s and aces. When you're learning basic strategy, that is one of the very first things you learn. Always split 8s and aces. So let's split and see what we get. All right. What's this doing? All right, this is wrong, folks. This is the simulation being wrong for most of North America. I know almost nowhere that allows you to hit after you split your aces. Normally, you get one card. You get only one card. I can't think of a time in the decades that I've been doing this when I've been allowed to hit. This would be a textbook hit if you a basic strategy hit. I'm going to play it correctly for the rules I normally see. I normally see this as a stand. So we have 21 and we have 3 or 13. 13. All right. So I would get paid. I will collect. I will put those over here. I have a win after a series of losses. I did not add 1 to my win stack, so now I'm going to make a 2-unit wager. And that's a hit. 17 is a stand. 12, 16, out. Excellent. Well, look at that. The box did generate a nice little comeback. Our win stack is intact, or our play stack is intact. Our play stack is complete at 10 units. We didn't add anything to the win stack, but we don't need to bet more than 1 unit to have a win. So we are just going to bet 1, and we're going to hit. And that's a bust. And now we're just going to repeat the 1-unit wager. It's called Always Be Grindin' for a reason, folks. It can be a grind. That's a hit. That's a stand. That's a loss. Oops, got 2 by mistake there. And we are going to stand. Excellent. All right, so we get paid. We rebuild the abacus. We're short 1 unit on the play stack. We would need to bet 2 units to have a unit of win. We have 1 after a loss, so this is a 2-unit wager. Ooh, 21 for the house. All right, we're going to make another 2-unit wager and keep grinding. 15, and it's a hit. That's a bust. Another 2-unit wager, and we need to win this one or we are once again done. Ah, look at that, a blackjack. Excellent. Excellent. So I'm going to pay myself 3 blue chips. I am going to rebuild my abacus. And I see from my abacus that I am short 3 units. And I just won a 2-unit wager. And a 2-unit wager will not get me a 1-unit profit. So now we are going to make the max bet in this system. We are going to make a 3-unit bet. And we're going to hit. And we lost. And we have one of those decision points once again. Because I either need to bet 3 units again. Hope you can see those. Either need to bet 3 units again, or I need to be done and take my loss. And I would have a very, very minor trivial loss. And I am going to make that 3-unit wager. And I'm going to lose. And I am going to record a loss of about half of my buy-in. Oh no, not even half my buy-in. What is my computer doing here? Sorry about that, folks. I should take my hands off the mouse when I'm trying to do the math. So it looks like about a $95 loss. Once again, our bankroll can take that. No one would blame you if you had this horrible run of bad luck, which is obviously what I do not want when I'm doing this demonstration. If you had had this horrible run of bad luck in real life, and I'm kind of exaggerating that, this is not terrible. We have not crushed our bankroll. If we structured our bankroll correctly, we have not crushed it. If you were playing for the first time, if you were going out and trying this system for the first time, and you had those sets of tables, you'd be pretty demoralized, I suspect. I would be if I was trying something new for the first time. But we haven't really crushed our bankroll. If I was real life on this, if I was at my local casino, I would, if I wasn't meta-martingaling, I just got wrecked. If I was just betting this system straight without the other part layered on top of it, I would probably walk away for the day. I would probably say, let's leave the bankroll intact. Today is just not your day. Let it go. Walk away. You're not going to get your day's pay today. If I was on a casino trip, it would definitely be time for dinner or a couple cocktails at the bar, or listening to live music if there was live music, or taking a nap, or taking a swim if it was the middle of the day. If I was in Atlantic City or Las Vegas, I would do some sightseeing. I would go enjoy the ocean, or I would go enjoy a VIP lounge, or I would most certainly walk down to a different casino. So let's pretend that we're going to do that. Let's pretend, because I really would like to show you a win, and at the same time, I don't want this to go too long. Let's pretend that we took a stroll down the boardwalk and enjoyed the sunshine and enjoyed the ocean and did some people watching and bought some really great French fries and went to a different casino and tried one more time. Because we're here for 5 days, so we're not going to let this little small hit to the bankroll make a difference. All right, a blackjack right off the bat. Let me get my $2.50 chip here. So, there we go. I got paid properly. That all goes in the win stack because it's the first bet at the table. And let's go. That's a loss. 1 unit wager. We got paid. We rebuild. We don't need to bet more than 1 unit to have a win. There's our 1 unit. There's our hit. 1 unit wagered. This is a double. So we get paid double. We added to the win stack. We did not win 2 in a row, so we are just making a 1 unit wager. I do not want insurance. I do want to stand. I did lose. If you've listened to some of my most recent episodes, you know that there is a TRG Wagering System 4. Win more, keep more is what I call it. Win more, keep more. And it addresses what we just saw here. This process of making a 1 unit bet losing, making a 1 unit bet winning. I suspect you'll see a video talking about that at some point in the very near future. 17 is a stand against a dealer's 8. 16, 18. That's a shame. So just a 1 unit wager. And this is a hit. And this is a stand. And the dealer has 17. That's a win. I rebuild my abacus. My play stack is fine. And I make a 1 unit wager. And that's a hit. Nice hit. All right. That's a win. And now when I rebuild my abacus, I am adding to my stack there. And that is, I believe, 2 units in a row with an addition to the win stack. So 1 unit comes off of my play stack. My press comes off my win stack, approximately half a unit. And I stand. And that's a win. So I got paid. I don't need to put anything here. I put everything here. I am on the progressive side of my wagering system, so I am going to go up by approximately another half unit. Blackjack. Excellent. So what do we have here? We got 25, 35, 45. So I'm going to do this the way a dealer would do it, and I am going to pay myself 1.5. If I can get a half chip out, there we go. I'm going to pay myself, that's the payment for this part. The payment for this part is $30. So I've been paid correctly. Nothing needs to go back here. A half a unit needs to be added here, so let me clean this all up. There's my original wager. There's the part that goes over here. I need to add half a unit. I need to add $10. I need to add 2 red chips. So I'm going to add $10, and I'm going to do it this way to keep things as neat and clean as possible. This is a $55 wager. I am up by half a unit. That's a push. That's a stand. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. So I get 2 blue chips. I get a red chip. And I'm going to go like that. You can see that I got paid. I don't need to put anything here. It all goes right here. I am going to... The next thing to do is to press up by half a unit. But half a unit would put me at more than 2.5 units pressed up. And let's pause for just a moment here and talk through this. I'm going to leave this structured correctly. 2.5 units. If you're playing Baccarat, the same system works with Baccarat. The same system works with pass, don't pass, your choice on the craps table. The same thing would work at roulette, although you're giving away so much house advantage. I'm not sure why you would, unless you just love roulette for some reason, which is fine. In blackjack, the one thing I find I always want to guard against is getting this pressed up way tall, because I'm winning. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I'm in really good shape, actually. Let's look at that. Yeah, I'm in really good shape. I'm up a couple $100. I do not want to press this stack so big that I suddenly get 8s against a 10 and I need to split. And I get another 8 and I need to split. And then I get a 3 and I need to double. And suddenly I've taken all of my buy-in and all of my win. I've taken all these chips and I've pushed them into the middle in an all-in situation. That could still happen here if I got the unicorn hand. If I got the hand split 4 times and doubled 4 times, I could still end up all in. But me personally, I'm going to stop at 2.5 units to guard against getting crushed by a book hand that causes me to go way, way, way into all these stacks. I don't want to get this up to $100. That would just be a disaster if it didn't pay off. If you're saying, oh, TRG, I think the right answer is 3 units, I'm not going to argue. If you think it's 3.5 units for you, if that's your risk tolerance, once again, I'm not going to argue. If you think it's only 2 units, that you just stop here, or that you've won so many in a row that you're just going to go like that, I'm also not going to argue. Those are all reasonable things. And if you are a Baccarat player, or if you are a craps player on pass, don't pass, and you say, I don't have to worry about splits and doubles, I'm just going to keep going, I am also going to say you're correct. So here we go. Excuse me. I have a hit. I have another hit. I have a bust. All right, that was a nice little sequence. That was a nice little progressive sequence that took us all the way to the top. So now, if I'm sitting at the table, I'm kind of doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am up $210. I am not at this point going to play all the way back. I am now at the point where I am protecting my win. I am protecting what I have won so far. That is my priority. Get this a little clearer for you here if I can. Messing around when I shouldn't be, maybe. I'm going to protect this win. I am not going to walk away because I lost 1 chip off of this stack after winning all that money. But I am not going to play this all the way back down. I am going to make sure that I walk with most of this. So I'm probably not going to go more than 3 units into the play stack at this point. But I'd like to turn it around. House is not helping. One more bet. 17. I'm not going to insure it. And the house has it. And that would most certainly in real life be my key to saying, okay, time to walk away. Time to be done. Probably would tip that off to the dealer. Don't tip away your wins. Right? That's one of our casino wisdoms. Don't tip away your wins. So what did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. I won $130. That gets recorded in the app. That gets put into my pocket. And that's a pretty good illustration. That's a pretty good illustration if I was on a gambling trip, if I was on a gambling vacation, if I was not gambling at my local casino. Once again, if I was at my local casino, I'd have probably not played this table till the next day. If I was at my local casino and I just did play this 4th table, depending on where I was for the month, that's where having my app is really helpful because I can see where I'm at for the month and know if this is a big deal, not a big deal. But unless it was a really, really solid month to that point, I'm probably also going to leave my local casino at this point. I'm going to say, okay, I had, excuse me once again. I'm going to say, okay, I had 3 tables. I lost. I had 1 table. I got a nice chunk of it back. And I'm going to be good at this point. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to walk away. If I'm on a gambling trip, I'm going, great. I changed the scenery a little bit. I saw the ocean. I maybe had a cocktail. I'm now in a different casino. Hey, maybe it's time to go get some food. Maybe it's time to go check out a VIP lounge if we're in the right building on the right days. But then I'm just going to come right back. You have seen that this is a situation where you go, okay, I took a small loss. I took a small loss. I took a small loss. Oh, I had a win that offsets some of those. You're going to have a run where it keeps going, where you don't get those 2 blackjacks in a row. But I see from my timer that we are at about an hour in length. I think that's a great spot for us to stop. I hope that's been an illustration that's been helpful to all of you. And I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to thank you very much, and I am going to remind you to tip your waitresses, tip your dealers, tip your wait staff. Don't tip away your wins. You saw an illustration of that here. I want to thank you very much for your time. I hope this was helpful to you. If this was helpful to you, shoot me an email. Let me know. You know, I want to hear if this wasn't what you wanted, if this isn't what you were hoping to see, if there's some aspect of this you don't understand. I am, as always, TRG at CasinoCombat.com. Spell combat with a K. I will be happy to answer your questions. I will be happy to be right there with you in your journey to being good at the game of casino gambling. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.